Speaker Tim Jones still with us right now. Tim, how are you?
Great, Mark. Thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you. I'm glad you could stick through the break there. So I am finding out more about this Bob Harward. He's a retired SEAL.
Yes.
Former deputy commander of the United States Central Command and served under the command of Mad Dog Mattis. So
he seems to be, from everything I've seen as well, Mark. I looked him up yesterday. I heard some mentions that he might be considered. He looks more than qualified for the position, and I hear he's someone that is a lot like Mattis. He is beyond a straight shooter, and a lot like Kelly as well.
And he could kill you with one finger. So
probably
nobody will want to mess
the
with
wrong
him.
way at you. Yes.
That's fun. Well, anyway, I wanted to update people on that. I appreciate you holding on for us. I wanted to bring up this right to work story that's in the Post today.
Yes.
That this thing, the ink's not even dry on the governor's signature on that bill, and the labor unions are trying to start up some petition to put it on a ballot.
Mark, this is the last gasp of the fat cat labor bosses here in Missouri. Mark, every other state around us here in the region, except for Illinois, and who wants to be like them on any public policy initiative, right?
Sure.
As they face billion-dollar budget shortfalls and multi-billion-dollar pension shortfalls, just incredible mismanagement. This is their last gasp, Mark. And anytime you see this reflected, don't you, on the federal level too? That's what's going on behind this the Flynn resignation and everything else. Everything the Democrats are doing, this backlash against Trump, the Trump administration, not giving him 5 minutes of a honeymoon, is because they're still in shock over the results of the election in November. They can't believe their entire power structure evaporated nearly overnight. And after a decade of running things on the executive level, both in D.C. and here in the state of Missouri, let's not forget, Mark, Governor Nixon was he was the backstop for the trial lawyers and for the big labor bosses. And he prevented right to work from going into effect for 8 years. He prevented tort reforms from going into effect for 8 years. He stood with the teachers' unions against the children of this state and prevented education reform. So what they're saying, Mark, is they're not happy with the results of the election. They do not. The labor bosses in this state say we do not accept the will of the people. This issue was front and center, wasn't it? I mean, Governor Greitens campaigned on right to work every single day. It's all over his website. I mean, he's just bashing the labor bosses. Just go to his website and look at his campaign website. It's still all up there. Chris Koster said, I'm going to continue to be the backstop. I'm going to continue to side with organized labor, even though organized labor oversaw probably the worst jobs loss in our state over the last 10 to 20 years of auto manufacturers leaving. I mean, they're an absolute failure, but they're saying they don't accept the results of the election, so they're going to now have a referendum, and they're going to fund a multi-million-dollar campaign. This will be extremely expensive, but you know what, Mark? I'm kind of ready to have this fight and put this issue to bed forever, because I will tell you that in all the polling I've done, and I've seen lots of polling on this very issue, Missourians are going to vote for this over 60%, mark my words.
Wow.
They're going to protect right to work. They're going to say, we like being a right-to-work state. We know it brings more jobs and prosperity. People are very educated on this. And, Mark, even the Chicago Tribune, I don't know if you saw this. Last week, the Chicago Tribune, they didn't out-and-out endorse right to work, but you know what they said? They had this article, that the title of it was from the editorial board, and they said, Illinois, you're now surrounded. Time to make some changes. And they kind of said, well, we don't know if we should endorse right to work or not, but every state around Illinois is now right to work. Illinois is doing everything wrong. We're not sure if they should do right to work or not, but they better start doing a bunch of things like these other states. So it was kind of a backhanded endorsement of right to work, but that's from the Chicago Tribune editorial board.
Well, it's stunning because they now realize that jobs are going to be sucked away from them all the way around the state.
Exactly. And you're already seeing this, Mark. Last year, the once great land of Lincoln, and I'm not happy about, we joke about them all the time, but, they're a brain drain here in the Midwest. It's not good for us either that people are fleeing. I hope they all come to Missouri, but a lot of times they leave and they go to the South or they go to the West or whatever, and they just skip the Midwest entirely, and they kind of throw us all in the same basket. But Illinois last year, Mark, lost more population than every other state loss in the country. They are just bleeding jobs, opportunity, businesses, wages, everything. And it's because it's liberals gone wild over there for decades.
Well, I saw an article one day about the fact that we should make Chicago like the District of Columbia and then just separate it from the rest of the state because, we can make it a red state.
Right.
If we could just do that, right? I mean, all these great people.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
There's great people in Illinois. And so, Mark, back to this referendum, the labor unions are going to try to one last gasp to protect their turf. They're going to spend millions of dollars of workers' wages that they've involuntarily taken from them to fund these campaigns. It's going to be a lot of outstate money, and they're going to try to put a referendum on the November 2018 ballot. And I say let them, because November 2018, number one, it's going to be a great midterm for Republicans because of all the U.S. Senate seats that are up where all the vulnerable Democrats are, like Claire McCaskill. She's not going to be able to help them in this. She's in a fight for her life if she even runs. And so you're going to have that as the backdrop. You're not going to have the presidential turnout. So let them put it on in November 2018. I predict it will go down in flames, and that'll put the issue to rest for good.
Wow. Well, just for people that didn't get to read the article, basically they have to get 90,000 signatures on petitions.
Correct.
To get this thing on the ballot. And would it pause right to work in the meantime?
No, it would not. It would not.
Right
So
to
work
would still go into effect in August.
Yeah, this will be a constitutional amendment to undo all of that.
Okay.
And you're right. They've got significant hurdles. They got to collect signatures. They have to survive legal battles. Then they have to do a multi-million-dollar campaign. And the National Right to Work Committee has already said, we're going to fight this tooth and nail.
Oh, good. Good. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Tim, thank you so much for your time.
Hey, thanks, Mark, for having me. I always appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. We'll talk soon.
Take care.
Thanks. Appreciate that. What can I say? When I saw that today in the paper, I'm like, are you kidding me? They haven't given up on this. And the newspaper would lead you to believe that history is on their side. They have a chance of winning this. 314-969-9797, the phone number down here. Back to this story at Nerinx Catholic School. I have a hard time understanding why someone believes that at a Catholic high school where